Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, 'tis the season to be social with a lot of social apps.
It's completely the wrong season. Plus, we're getting new iPads next month, or at least some people say so. Amazon's Cloud Player gets an app, and the story of iPad crime.
All that and why Cool Iris beats the pants off of your Photos app on iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by Rackspace, the open cloud company. At Rackspace, build what you want, where you want, and how you want, all backed by their world-renowned fanatical support. Try it today. Download the open cloud at rackspace.com/open. And by GoToMeeting with HD Faces from Citrix, the powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate with colleagues and clients from anywhere. You can share the same screen and see each other face-to-face with HD video conferencing, even from an iPad. Sign up for your 30-day free trial today. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and use the promo code iPad. And by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create a professional website, blog, portfolio, and now online store. Check out their new commerce solution so you can start selling stuff immediately. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code iPadToday3. And by Slingbox, which can turn your mobile device into a television. With the new Slingbox, you can watch high-def TV on your smartphone, laptop, or tablet anywhere there's an internet connection. Check it out at slingbox.com/twit. Whoo! iPad Today time. I love this time of the week.
You know, we got an email between this week and last week, and someone saying, I love your show. I've watched it since day one, but your dancing is so bad.
You danced like Elaine on Seinfeld.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? You know?
I'm trying to think. Have I ever seen you dance?
Probably.
On the Tech TV days, we used to have parties where people would dance.
I was usually like
you were
in a dark
wallflower
corner making out more than I was dancing. You were dancing.
I danced. In fact, there's pictures that are very embarrassing.
There are some photos.
Yeah. Sweaty Leo.
Everyone dances. Yeah, if you take a photo of anyone dancing, it
it's
looks
always
terrible.
bad. First of all, because you have to use a flash. And so it's.
And then you see.
Yeah.
Just the details.
I sweat when I dance a lot.
Well, that's how you know that you're really getting down.
I actually love to dance.
Who doesn't love? Well, people don't love dancing, and those people are suspicious.
You should dance like there's nobody looking. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, love like you've never been hurt.
Yeah.
And
walk like you have no shoes. No, that's not right.
Walk a mile in someone else's shoes.
That's it. Exactly. So, what is our topic? I know what our topic is. We're not going to South by Southwest.
Yay!
Woohoo!
So, I've been to South by Southwest for the past 6 years in a row.
6 years.
Unbelievable.
And it really is a wonder. I am not down playing South by. It is a conference that started in Austin. It was originally a music, or was it a film festival first?
Well,
I can't remember. It was one or the other.
Good question, but interactive was added later, and that was sort of for the tech nerds.
And in the first few years, interactive at South by was a few hundred people. Now it's thousands and thousands. It's taken over Austin. It's a big, big week. And every time we've gone there, it's been because of the apps that get launched there. So I think back to when Foursquare got launched about 4 years ago. It was the talk of South by. Everybody was using it. Twitter really made its bones at South by in 2006, I think.
2007.
2007, the year later.
Yeah, March 2007 was when everybody got on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's when I joined Twitter, even though I wasn't. Well, it doesn't matter. But
we don't cover it anymore because it's really just a great social event and much less of a trade show in the sense that you learn stuff there.
It's also been taken over by marketing, and that's something that, listen, it's not that I don't like some free tacos brought to me by, you know, food spotting type of a thing.
Right.
But there's so much more of a corporations trying to get the word out and give you swag and get their brand all over everything.
Well, when CNN took over a restaurant a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah, they've got the CNN grill it's like 3 years strong now.
Okay, I feel like this is no longer the nerd convention it was. It's gone mainstream.
Last year, the big sort of takeover and area thing was Nike because they were giving out Nike fuel bands.
Right.
And it was, you know, again, Nike fuel bands are really cool, but this was this big area and they had like professional skateboarders and
you came back with a Nike fuel band and I was jealous because I couldn't get one. They were so hard to come by.
Yeah.
This year, of course, the big event is going to be NSFW's live show at South by Southwest. Everybody's looking forward to it.
South by So Wasted? Isn't that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we will broadcast it live. So it's not like we're not there.
No, I won't be there.
No.
I'm actually going to Miami. I'm just going to not do anything technical at
You're
all.
a wild girl.
Or how about the tech of South Beach? There's got to be some, right?
There's some tech there.
The Wi-Fi networks are out in force.
And of course, it was at South by Southwest that Dignation used to do their live event there at the Stubbs Barbecue. That's gone, so they don't do that anymore. But that's where I set the record, the world record for crowd surfing, 2 years running. First year, it was the world record for just longest crowd surf.
Yeah.
And then the second year was the first...
Most people crowd surfing?
No, the first longest co-ed crowd surf.
Oh, I see.
It was a number of us. I think mostly Lisa, I, and a number of us just leapt into the crowd, which surprised the crowd. They really didn't...
they were
ow! Stop! No!
To be holding you
They're
guys
jumping on me. Yeah, it's kind of... I found out later that it's actually dangerous to jump into a crowd. That's not actually a good idea.
Well, luckily for you, nothing terrible happened.
No, Meatloaf got badly hurt one year because he jumped. This is not a joke. But he jumped into a crowd and they couldn't hold him, and he actually hit the ground. So, since I'm almost Meatloaf's size, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Don't do that. You're a world champion.
But I am interested that you know, in the last 2 years we went, there were no big apps. There were so many apps that tried to launch at South by. You couldn't say this one's going to be the app of South by Southwest. But I am curious. I wonder, is there going to be a big social app at South by Southwest? There have been some big updates of the social apps that did make their bones at South by Southwest.
Yeah, Path got a huge update yesterday.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
So here's the thing. Okay. So two main things about Path that got updated. You can now private message. So Leo and I are Path friends. Path, if you're unfamiliar or need a reminder, it's the social network where you have a maximum of 150 friends. The idea is to be more, you know, yourself. Not so social networky and more sharing moments of your life with your friends and family.
And as Facebook, you know, Facebook with its redesign now really has, they're clearly a much more public site than they used to be. They really want to be more open. I think it's nice to have something like Path. It's a little bit more
Path is
private.
I've definitely been, you know, a little oversharing and emo on Path, where I would not have chosen to do that anywhere else. Path is... It's weird, though, because it's
by Dave, by the way, we should mention, by Dave Morin, who started at Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of his like, I think there's something else out there. And we go ahead, because they've not only added messaging, but they've added
stickers.
A store.
Yes, a store where you can buy things and give Path money.
Nothing I wanted to buy. I looked, I shopped, I browsed.
Oh, I did some shopping.
Did you buy some stuff?
I'll tell you what.
On my credit card?
No. No, actually no, because my iPhone is my own account. Although I think I should maybe invoice you guys because it is research for iPad.
Yeah, send me a T&E and I'll cut
What's
you a
interesting
check.
about Path on the iPad specifically versus the iPhone, I prefer it on the iPhone because the iPad, I'm not going to go ahead and
I agree
and expand these notifications just because, you know,
so
I haven't gotten everybody's permission.
You're in portrait mode, tall mode.
I'm in portrait mode.
It looks more like the right column is just like the iPhone column, but then there's a left column that's kind of a waste of space. When you go into landscape mode,
it changes completely.
It's just a photo album with no text, and I don't know if I like that either.
I've never liked this. I feel like the context is very strange. I'm just going to click on Prager's stuff because I know that he doesn't really care. I show his Path posts.
So,
you know?
so apparently David's being met by a chauffeur wearing Groucho Marx glasses.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess I can't get any
Maybe
bigger.
that's what he actually looks like.
But, you know, okay, so, you know, there's sort of the situation.
I wouldn't get in that car, David.
But, I know, right? It's like, that's Okay, whatever.
But I like Pat. So you notice on that post, there's a map of where he is. There's comments. People can also leave little icons, smiley face, surprised face, frowny face.
But this is all photo-based, so it's actually stripping out some of the
content.
The content that I'm actually getting on, you know, the view that I'm used to on my iPhone. But this isn't really, you know, the big story. The big story is
show us the story.
Is the well, oh yeah, you want to see the shop, the store?
And then you can. I'm still uploading it or downloading it. I'm still updating it. So you can't message me quite yet. But let's look at the store and maybe the download will finish.
So for example, you get a few things.
I don't like these icons.
You get a few things for free, like the Jake set.
They call these what? Stamps or stickers?
Stickers. So I've already, you know, I can actually restore purchases.
But you can slide through the Jake set or any set just by scrolling.
And just get an idea of what you got. Like on my iPhone, I bought the pepper set.
So slide through those. See if you scroll to the right. Yeah, you can see the other one.
You get a sense
I figured
of
you'd buy the cat one.
It's Pepper. Oh yeah, I bought the cat one too.
Yeah, I figured.
Pepper in motion. Pepper's reading a book.
I see. I don't want to. Why? And then what? Does that show up on a picture?
It shows up in messages only. So if I message you, or you can do a group message type of a thing.
Please don't.
We can use these. Oh, it's too late. But I can't actually just use these in my regular feed that all of my Path friends might potentially see. What's kind of interesting about this is you go, what is the? I mean, really? This is very. Somebody, Matt Honan, I think, described this as very twee, and I agree. I agree that that's.
What's that mean, twee?
Twee means, you know, sort of.
Tweet?
Cute. No,
Tweety?
twee is sort of like cute, and for the younger set, and precious.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't feel
thing.
like grown-ups would use
No,
this.
this is it's very twee.
Oh, you know, that's something, by the way, and this should be a little concern for iPad and iOS users. I'm just started it on the Android and all these features in Android, but this is something you don't have on. When you go in the store, does it ring the store bell?
Yeah, there are. Well, I don't remember.
No,
that.
I don't think so.
Well, no. There are now
little sound effects.
Sound effects that you can turn on and off in your settings. I'm not positive that that's
it's a big redesign.
I heard in iOS.
This is a really big redesign.
Well, the thing is too is that you get all this information about the artists who made these characters.
Yeah.
And you know, my first reaction is, listen to this. Pepper the red panda loves Sinatra, mint chip, and chasing yellow butterflies.
Oh, that is
But
twee.
mostly he loves you.
Oh, that's too twee for me.
Too twee, even for me. So, I mean, it's not a cat. It's a red panda, for goodness sake.
I noticed a trend towards.
You read a little bit about the artist and where he came from.
Here's another thing I don't like. That window's too small. You've got a big screen. What are you doing with a little window?
Yeah, I know. Well, see, this is something that, you know, obviously they made it perfect for the iPhone, so it seems small on the iPad. But you also get photos for filters, rather, for photos and videos, and that's all fine and good. But again,
well, they've had those before, but there's some more.
Now they're just in the store. They're basically like, here's where you.
Are there any new? Are there new filters?
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah.
There's 3D, for example, to make a gross 3D effect that you'd never want to use on an otherwise normal photo. You got Woodstock. It kind of is like old timey. The point is that Path has gone. You know what? We need to make some money. But
this is the.
But here's the problem.
Yeah.
Everything that I just showed off is either free or like $1 or $2.
Right.
And Path recently told the Next Web that they have 6 million active users. So even if those 6 million people all buy some stuff, I mean, you're not making that much money for an app that has a $1 billion valuation and doesn't want to sell to anybody. So I'm not exactly sure where this is all going.
Well,
but
it's
I
a
think
step.
It's the first step in an in-app purchase direction.
You know, once you start messaging, I think that's actually a huge step, because once you start messaging, now you can go in that Facebook direction with like Facebook gifts. Remember I bought you some caramels? I could easily see them adding that to Path. Well, you're messaging Sarah, why don't you buy her a little gift? I think there's an opportunity. What they've done is they've opened the door to the store. Now they've got to stock it with stuff that you want.
Well, and it's also about, well, you wouldn't buy the caramels for just anybody, but these are your best friends
are close,
and your family.
Yeah.
If not at Path, where?
Your besties, as you young people would say.
Well, yeah.
By the way, twee, you know, somebody in the chat room just told us, was first used in 1905.
Twee.
In Punch magazine, it's a British humor magazine.
Oh, yeah?
And it comes from a childish pronunciation of sweet. Twee.
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 Really?
Yeah.
Well, you learned something new on iPad today.
Yeah. Thanks to the Oxford English Dictionary, there's no word Unrevealed.
So there is kind of a cool new feature in, speaking of apps that launched to great fanfare at South by Southwest a few years ago, that app was Foursquare.
Oh, huge.
And Foursquare is a much different app than it used to be.
Yeah. Twitter and Foursquare are really the poster child.
In fact, we're still looking for the next Foursquare. It hasn't happened yet.
Nothing has happened since.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's because
not in that way, because
everybody said, "Oh, good, we'll launch at South by," and 1,000 apps launch, and nothing could stand out.
Exactly, exactly. Well, and then you have the issue where you've got all these apps and all these people trying to download these apps, and then people go, "This doesn't really work," or "It drains my battery. This is the worst."
Do you want to message me? Because I now have Path 3. Did you want to message me, or?
Well, you can message me. How about that? When I talk about what's new about Foursquare.
Okay, as you start setting up, I'll send you a message if I could figure out how to use Path.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So what's neat about Foursquare now is that, so I'm looking at, I'm at the, I was last at the TNC, you said about an hour ago. Tim Street is in Austin. David Prager as well.
I note one thing. This is not an iPad app. This is a iPhone
This is definitely an iPhone app, yes,
Yeah.
as you can see. For some reason, Foursquare has never gone iPad native, which is...
There are third-party Foursquare apps, which are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Not as
are
good.
they?
No.
I mean, do you like any of them?
No, I don't use any of
particularly?
them. But some of them have big maps. There's some that map all your friends in the world and stuff like that.
What's cool about the new feature of Foursquare is Foursquare wants to make it as easy as possible for you to check in, because the more often you check in anywhere, the more often Foursquare has data, and the more often Foursquare can say, hey, you check into the TNT set a lot. Would you like to leave a tip? That sort of thing. And tips then help their data set for other people who might find the TNT set using Explore. TNT set is kind of a weird example, but let's say Acre Coffee down the street. I left a tip this morning saying they've got great coffee from Flying Goat, which is made up in Healdsburg. And
I don't really want to drink coffee made by a goat.
Well, but it's a flying goat.
Oh,
so
that's pretty special.
Yeah. Take it into consideration.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here we go. Because Foursquare knows that I've checked into the Twit Brickhouse studios in the past. It'll say, hey, tap here to check in. Here's a cool thing. I don't think this is actually, unless you read the developer notes, which I always do, this is necessarily something that you'll pick up. But if you click on hold, now you've got a little green line across the top, and Foursquare has checked me in without even doing anything. My pal Glenn is mayor here. Congratulations, Glenn Rubenstein. So it's Foursquare making it easier than ever for you to check in, because in the past people
Swipe to check.
Yeah, people have complained like, well, you got to check this, and then you got to wait for something to load, and then you got to find it, and then you got to check in again. That's like 4 clicks. I don't want to do that. So Foursquare has made that easier. Also, the Explore tab, I really have to say...
This is their future. This is what they believe their future is.
It's great.
You like it?
Yeah. Anytime I'm somewhere unfamiliar, or I'm out of town, I was down in Manhattan Beach last weekend. It's been years since I hung out down there. It is great. It's a Yelp, but it's more of a mobile experience. So I'm looking at the best stuff nearby, recommended. Burger King is promoted. It's not necessarily what people think is the best.
They indicate that with a little icon?
Yeah, it says promoted with, a little lightning
thing. It's good
thing.
to know, good to know.
And then you got a little special offer. You got Bovine Bakery, Acre Coffee, Lagunitas, Petaluma Market. I mean, it's...
And these are Yelp ratings or no?
No.
They're just Foursquare?
Yeah. It's people saying, this is good, this is
Everybody's
what I rate
doing this, though. Is this the one you want to use? I mean, there's Google does this, Yelp does this. Google Maps do it, Apple Maps do it. Is this the one you want to use?
The reason that I like Foursquare is because, tell me if you feel this way. There are a lot of friends of mine who used to check in because they wanted to get mayorships and have a little crown and stuff like that. They just don't care about that stuff anymore.
I lost interest.
You lost interest. I did not.
You still do it?
I'm a very competitive person, at least when it comes to virtual crowns. So I'm really trying to get the mayorship of Cyclass Coffee and my gym, and there are a couple other things.
Is it
Ron
a
Richards
battle?
and I were in a battle for a while.
Back and forth
then
battle.
I moved, and so he can have it.
Now, I should point out...
But because of all that data, that's why Foursquare is very dynamic, because people are constantly
There is
checking
a lot of data, yeah. But you can use Path, for instance, to check in on Foursquare. When you do a check-in on Path, it will say to Foursquare, hey, she's here. So you don't use Foursquare, the client.
I do. There are certain, so I go to Cyclass Coffee almost every day.
And you make a point of using Foursquare there.
Well, I just feel like I used to go, oh, I'm at Cyclass Coffee on
Yeah,
Path.
that's not something anybody cares about,
No,
really.
not really. Not every day. Does anyone care that I'm there every day? No. But Foursquare, it actually helps, with the data set. Path is a little bit more like, I have something to share with you, friends and family. So, there's no right or wrong way to use this. But I do think that Foursquare is moving in the right direction.
Hey, it looks like Path, I'm in portrait mode, now has a portrait mode.
Oh, yeah, well.
Did I do that by accident?
Yeah, so go to, go back to actual portrait mode.
Yeah.
And let it load. Calm down. What's going on here?
I don't know.
Do you have your orientation locked?
No, I don't know.
You sure?
Yes.
Yeah, you did. Now go back.
Now go back.
And it's gone forever.
But now it's just putting this thing there. This is different.
Oh, that's weird.
This is different.
Why does it look like that?
This is, well, because I'm in Leo, Laporte land.
Really?
I think something's gone strange.
I think Path is just buggy, is what I think.
I think we have Houston. We have a problem.
Now go back again.
Let me go to my home. Did you get my message?
Well, I haven't checked.
I sent you a message.
Oh boy.
Path is doing something strange now. I think we found a bug.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on here. Oh, Path.
Oh, Path,
Notifications.
Maybe you didn't update your Path. That's what happened.
Yes, I did.
Oh, no, because you had the store.
Yeah.
Huh. F and Dunn sent me a message on Path. I haven't seen it. I think, you know what? Path 3.0, wait for the update, because it's a little bit wuggy. See, there's my message.
Oh, you sent me the little private conversations. Yeah.
Obviously, you've not done this before. So now you get notifications.
Petite Syrah.
Yeah, now you could play the audio too. See, I sent you some audio.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah, there's a little play
button.
You don't see a play button there?
Well, no, I sure don't.
Oh, you don't? Ah. You could send me some audio, just like that.
Hi, Lil.
Hey.
Yeah, see, it's good stuff, you know? Close friends and family. You wouldn't do this for just anybody, right?
Oh,
anyway.
I think maybe we broke
Path actually is buggy. I was complaining on Path earlier that it was buggy, so it's...
I'm not... A lot of people...
It's always been buggy, though. This is not just some new thing.
I know, and you know, it's funny because Dave Morin follows Sarah, the creator of Path, so when she bitches about Path, he always responds, oh, we're so sorry. It's like, come on, give me a break. Just fix it.
I know. The last time I complained, I was like, I want to be able to block people.
It's kind of...
What if you hate somebody and they're smiling at all of your friends' updates? You can't. They're just in your face. They're just looking at you. They're like, I'm going to smile and heart everything in your life.
There's a guy, every time you went home, Owen, like, does a frowny face every time you say I'm in the upper hate. He goes, no.
Owen Thomas?
Yeah.
I had to turn off my neighborhood locations because of that.
Because of him.
Like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Every time I friend somebody, smiley face.
I figured he was in love with you. He was just stalking you.
He's not really into girls.
He's not into you.
And he's married anyway. So.
He's not that into you.
No.
No.
He's not.
No. Or the upper hate.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Not there's anything wrong with that. So hey, there's another app. This app actually was supposed to be the big breakout app of South by Southwest.
Wait a minute, don't tell me.
Last year.
Last year, highlight.
Yes.
Because the whole idea was it lets you know when people are around you that you care about, or maybe you might want to care about.
That either friends.
Turned that off in about 3 seconds.
Interesting people. Well, the problem last year was that, and they've changed their software somewhat. It was that it was draining everybody's batteries.
Right.
And whoa, what's going on there? Somebody's calling you?
Never mind.
Bush League. So.
Turn it off. It's not supposed to make sound.
Highlight is actually kind of fun, and I did not give it much of a chance.
First of all, I hate that.
Everyone does.
Fake 3D logo.
It's the worst.
Why? It makes me think my vision's going bad.
I feel as though the people who made Highlight, Paul and team,
don't like us.
No, it's not that. It's just that everyone complains about that, and I feel like they just have to stick to their guns or something.
No, it's good.
It's been so long, because at least it gets people talking about it. What's interesting about Highlight is that not only can I get a notification, it's basically it sort of just runs in the background. If I go ahead and highlight Leo, if you're near me,
it'll find you.
Let's say you're in the city some night and we haven't talked about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Leo's at the Metro, and he's so close to me, I'll swing by.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Well, but not just that. You might go see a movie at the Metron. It's happened before.
It's happened.
But not just that, but people that I might be interested in. For example, Merrick Muzolf works at Bloomberg. Okay.
That's the thing that I think is most intriguing.
That's
the idea
kind of interesting.
That it could give you connections with somebody that you care about.
Exactly. And it turns out that Merrick, I don't even want to say he or she, is in Petaluma today and is nearby me. And so this is something where I could kind of reach out and say, hey, do you want to meet for coffee? Like, what do you do for Bloomberg, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's the interesting thing about Highlight to me. You have to be one of those people who's either really looking to network, you know, maybe you've got a new company and you're, you know, want to spread the word, that sort of thing. Or you're someone like me who's just, I don't know, I'll meet anybody. You know, I don't really have like a whole lot of privacy issues. So this kind of stuff is fun, but is just kind of creepy to other people. You know, something like South by, it's perfect for Highlight because everybody's looking to meet other people and, oh, you work at, do you know so-and-so? Oh, I know Jonathan. You know, that kind of thing. What Highlight also has, Leo, and you're gonna probably roll your eyes and vomit in your mouth a little bit, is photo filters.
Yeah, just what you know, that's the feature that really was lacking.
Right.
I think.
It's the one thing that I feel all apps need, and nobody has them.
I don't understand how you would even use it in Highlight.
Because I can say something like,
take a picture
you
of
know,
something,
let's
and this
take a
is
photo.
This is me.
This is the photo I always take.
It's so easy to do a photo filter that just everybody now does.
Oh, I already took the photo. Yeah. So give it a sunray. Say save. At work.
So, but you use okay. So it would be for your status message.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well,
because you don't really send pictures via Highlight.
Well, but the thing is that anybody who's highlighted me, this shows up on their news feed.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, cool, that's a very uninteresting photo.
They're moving more in the direction of a path, for instance.
Well, Path is definitely friends and family, intimate life moments, my baby.
It's funny, Highlight's the exact
kind of
opposite.
Highlight is much more social, truly networking.
Right.
Where do you work? Where do you live?
Right.
How do you know this person? Do you want to be alerted when this person is in your general vicinity, kind of a thing?
Now, when you first use Highlight, you sign in via Facebook, so it immediately populates with all of your Facebook cronies.
That's right, and Highlight even
may not
says,
be what you want.
Well, that's not. If you don't like Facebook, then this is not very useful to you.
Right.
Highlight even says in their developer notes, you know, when you go to download the app, hey, just so you know, we are, at least for now, using Facebook login, and if you have a problem with that, let us know what services you would prefer, so that, you know, we can add that in a future update. But
so
yes, that is a limitation for some people.
So as I see the near you today, and of course you're near me, I see this bad picture at work, and that kind of shows me
That's so embarrassing. So. All these people who have highlighted me now are going to unhighlight me because I'm such a creep.
Why did you take a picture of
Why did you take a picture of that?
And then put the sunrise filter on it.
Oh, God, what a loser. Yeah. I'm unhighlightable.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are a few apps that have been big at South by in the past. I would say Foursquare is still the big one. Well, I mean, we're even going to leave Twitter out of it because Twitter is just ubiquitous now.
Right.
But Path is, you know, they've got a new version with those stickers and that messaging. I don't know. It's pretty
I like
compelling.
Path. I'm going to stick with Path.
Me and 3 of my best girlfriends had an inappropriate Path chat last night that included stickers and what we thought the stickers actually meant.
But important to note that does not show up in your Path feed. That's,
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's one thing that is super weird is that if there is a friend of yours that is not a friend of mine, I can message that person now.
Ooh, that's a little bit of a bug.
Don't like that. That's not a bug. It's a feature.
Yeah, no.
But I think it's a bad one because what if you're friends with somebody just because you want to be polite that, like, I hate?
Right.
So.
Well, you can't do that anymore.
Well, what do you mean?
Don't be friends with somebody you hate.
No, but you're friends with them. It's not your fault that I hate them.
I am friends with lots of people you hate.
Well, I don't. I mean, I'm not. You know what I mean?
I cultivate them.
Or what if you're friends with somebody?
No,
I don't
right.
realize that they're like
person
trying to get to me.
Yeah.
It's just.
No, I think that's a leak.
That
I don't think that's a good thing.
It doesn't feel very private. So,
Friends of friends was a big problem on Facebook, and I think they shouldn't bring it to Fat Path.
Well, I think you know, Dave Moore and team might say something like, well, maybe you ought to pick your friends a little bit more wisely. But it's like in our circles,
you can't control your friends. That's not your.
You can't, especially when it's like we're all supposed to be such social people. You end up kind of being friends with.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't always work that way.
Well, I take Shannon Morse off my friends list. I'm sorry. I didn't realize she was bugging you.
It's just that she's so like. Sarah.
I'm so sorry. No, we're just kidding.
She's so nice.
We're just kidding. You know, the app.
I need nice people in my life.
I hate nice people. The app that was supposed to be, I'm convinced, a big South by Southwest launch that wasn't because they didn't get it out in time was Color. Remember that? They raised $40 million in venture capital.
Yeah.
And the idea was it was a picture sharing app that if you were in a room with a lot of people and you'd get the pictures of all the people at the South by party.
It was geolocated, so whether they knew you or not.
Right.
It didn't work.
Bomb.
I tried.
Bomb. We all tried it. And I think part of the problem was it really felt like it was intended for a big event like South by, where you'd really, oh, well, this is great. I'm seeing everybody's pictures from this concert or this event. But when you're just at home alone and it's pictures of your cat and nobody's near you, it really isn't that interesting.
No. Poor color. So those are a few of the apps
now.
that are, yeah. Well, and then Apple ended up buying some of the people, and I guess the
name?
URL, and that's
it's a good name.
It's a great name. It just needs a good product.
Yeah.
So those are a few of the apps that we'll definitely see being used at South by Southwest. And who knows, you know, this time next week, the interactive portion of the show will be over, so maybe there'll be another breakout hit. We'll talk about that. For the links to the apps that we mentioned, if you're interested in Path or Foursquare or Highlight and you're not using them yet, visit iPad today at twit.tv/IPT, and you can watch our past episodes there as well. Last week, Leo and I talked about some very interesting stuff. In fact, we got quite a bit of feedback on some of our handy dandy apps. You might recall that was our theme last week. Look how afraid I look of you.
I'm pointing at you.
You're hypnotizing me.
You
and
are
it's
getting
working.
sleepy. Sleepy.
And a reminder that we do record iPad Today live on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. If you can't watch us live, you can subscribe to the show, watch us on demand, do whatever you like. We have video and audio feeds too. Just stay with us.
Yay.
And we'll continue to do what we do.
Yay, yay, yay. Our show today brought to you by a new sponsor.
This is pretty exciting.
I'm really excited because everybody knows the name Rackspace.
Oh, yeah. I know people who work there.
Yeah.
I know people who have used Rackspace for years.
So maybe you didn't know this. Rackspace, a couple of years ago, decided they were going to create something they called OpenStack. The idea being a stack of software operating system on up that you can use on demand as needed to host apps or to host databases to build your business or to create a new app that maybe the next great iPad app. I have a great idea. Remind me for an iPad app I want to share with you after.
Okay, great.
And maybe I'll put it on the Rackspace Open Cloud. They partnered with, believe it or not, NASA to develop this, and it's completely open source, and they call it the Rackspace Open Cloud. Now, what's cool about this is there are a lot of people doing cloud computing and cloud stacks, but not all cloud providers are the same. Many of them, most of them use proprietary technology. That means moving your data in or out of their stack is not going to be easy. But if you want an open cloud solution, Rackspace is the one, built on open standards. They co-founded OpenStack. They run the world's largest open cloud. So you're not locked into a single provider. I've always thought Rackspace was amazing. Of course, everybody's very well familiar with their world-renowned fanatical support. Well, imagine an OpenStack-based cloud, public or private, on-premise or hosted, with the freedom to move your apps, code, and websites back and forth, and of course that world-renowned fanatical support. You can try it today, absolutely free. Download the Open Cloud. Yes, you can. You can run it yourself. Rackspace.com/open. And I have to say, this is the first time in my memory I can ever remember doing an ad for something that is absolutely free. They make no money on it, and they just want you to know about it, and they say download it. It's yours. Open source software. You gotta love it. Rackspace.com/open. Do you get ideas for apps and think, gosh, I should really develop that? That would be a good.
Gosh, I wish I had a great idea because it seems like developing an app is easier than ever.
Well, exactly. You can host it on Rackspace and scale it up, or just do it as a proof of concept and go to a venture capital list and say, see, it's working. We launched it at South by, and it's huge. And
what's your idea?
I forgot already.
Oh, you liar! You don't want to tell because you know somebody's going to get to it before you.
And I thought of it before the commercial, and by the end of the commercial, I'd completely forgotten it.
Likely story, Laporte.
No, I really did. It was a really good idea, too.
Hey, what do you think about this whole rumor? In fact, Renee Ritchie at iMore was the first one to write it up.
And we talked about it on Mac Break Weekly.
I bet you did, about the idea that we will get iPad refreshes next month in April.
It's disturbing.
Why?
Well,
why are you disturbed?
Well, okay, so here's why it's disturbing, and maybe I'm wrong to be disturbed because a lot of other companies do regular updates, but Apple kind of established at the very beginning with the iPhone and then with the iPad that we're going to do an update once a year, so you'll get a new one every year, and that's it. And they broke it a little bit with the last update. It was only 8 months between the iPad 3 and 4. and then the Mini at the same time. And that kind of broke it, but I thought, well, no, they'll get back to year. And there's a good reason why I think customers want that. They want the knowledge that if they buy an iPad, it's not going to be obsoleted a few months later. Well, now they're talking about updating the iPad again out of cycle before a year is up, right? Would it be less than a year since the iPad 4? Yes.
Since the 4, of course. It would be just over a year since the 3.
Yeah, but I feel like they shouldn't.
Okay, so we got iPad Mini and the iPad 4th Gen.
Right.
Retina iPad, right?
Right.
That was what? September.
I think it was September.
September.
It was either they had 2 announcements, September and October, and I can't remember. No, it was October.
Because the iPhone 5 came out.
Yeah, it was October.
Oh, you're right. So
they're talking October to maybe August?
Well, no, that's iPhone.
Oh, you're right.
April is iPad. So that's basically 6 months.
Yeah, no, see,
6 months. But what's weird about it is like, okay, we're already seeing some mock-ups for, basically the frame of the iPad 5.
Right.
But that the iPad Mini, should it come out in April, and of course Renee says
Retina Mini?
No, he says no Retina
That's
Mini.
That's what his source is telling him, is it's not Retina.
Not Retina Mini. See, because if you had bought a first-gen iPad Mini, I can see you being like, are you serious? Retina comes out 6 months later. Thanks for nothing, Apple. But at the same time, it's like, how is there going to be an updated iPad Mini if it's not Retina? Isn't that the only thing that people don't like about it?
Yeah, what could you update?
What could you possibly want? I mean, I guess, I don't know, make it faster. It doesn't really need to be thinner or lighter.
And it's fast enough. It feels to me, and that's actually what you could do with the iPad 5, is make it thinner and lighter, more like the Mini.
Sure.
It just feels to me like Apple's is almost making these disposable products. Like, oh, get a new one every 6 months, no problem. So this is Apple fan site, and I don't, this is from them. The first news of what they think, first pictures of what they think are an iPad 5. This is from a case manufacturer, right? So that's, I don't think Apple releases these to case manufacturers ahead of time. So that might make it right there a little bit less believable. Not colored, but they do say it will be about 4 millimeters shorter and about 1 to 2 millimeters thinner. That's hardly a big difference there. The width, though, will be 2 centimeters.
But I mean, they do that.
That's almost an inch less.
Yeah.
2 centimeters less than the iPad 4. In other words, they're cutting the bezel down like they did with the Mini.
And I think that, with an iPhone as well, it's like, I think that those are the
not a significant change.
No, it's incremental. But if you have...
It's cosmetic. It's like fins on a car.
If you have the guts on the inside, we got an 8-cylinder engine now.
But that's what the whole point of the
iPad
4 was. It was so much faster than the iPad 3. And by the way, you upgraded?
No, I didn't.
I didn't
Remember
either.
we had a conversation
We're both
about
using
this.
3s
We're
here.
like, it's fine. It won't look any different for the purposes
We're both
of demonstration
using
of our shows.
the old new iPad instead of the new iPad.
Right. Well, it was the only one that was actually called the new iPad.
Notice, by the way, that I have to say 3, 4, and 5, which are generation numbers, not the numbers Apple uses, because there's no other way to talk about this. It's driving me crazy.
Well, don't let it ruffle your feathers too much. I would like to see an Apple announcement in April simply because...
But there's nothing that they need to do.
Well, you don't. That's stupid. You're saying...
They don't need to do it.
No, but then you get into a weird thing.
Making a bezel thinner is not enough.
But then you get into this weird thing where you're like, they just need to hold on to their technology longer.
Well,
because
no. I agree. If there's something big they could do...
If they roll out anything too quickly, then
But
just
like you said, what is it that they could roll out?
Good question. I don't know. Bendable? I don't know.
Bendable.
I think Retina is truly the only thing that the Mini lacks for me.
And I don't know what you're going to do. The A6X chip in the 4th generation iPad is, as Shadow XPR just said in our chat room, it doesn't stress any game. There's nothing that doesn't handle just fine. So it's not like there's a demand for a faster. You did need a faster processor with the 3. And so I cut him some slack, because Retina was so demanding on that processor, it felt a little sluggish. My 3 feels a little sluggish when I play Simpsons Tapped Out, because there's so many little things going on. You see, even when I scroll, there's a little bit of a hesitation.
Something.
Yeah, because it just can't keep up. But the thing is but that's also, sure, it's okay right now. And these apps are, you have a few bloated apps that you're running and you like, and they're graphics intensive. It's like, it will keep slowing down as the apps get more complex. So maybe
it's
better
not
battery.
Like we've gotten to like the top of Well, battery life as well. Battery life is so good on the Mini. Battery life is great, and the Mini charges like that.
I don't think they need. I don't think they. There's. I don't know what I would say. Better camera? No.
Well, this is classic Apple saying consumers don't actually know what they want.
They don't. They just want the new one, and we figure a certain
give it
percentage
to
of them
them.
will just buy the new one, and we'll make more money. And that's why I don't like it. It feels cynical to me. Now we'll see. Maybe they'll have something. And I also was suspicious. I think Apple really wants to make it easier for consumers, and they want to make it every year. So I'm not convinced this rumor is real. Although Renee said its source is excellent for this. So
also, iMore has really good sources.
Well, that's Renee Ritchie. Yeah, he's saying it's his.
In 2012, they were spot on with everything.
I agree.
So I know that
They're
he's saying
smart.
like, hey, grain of salt a little bit, but our sources are pretty solid.
Yeah.
You know who got a nice little iPad refresh?
Who?
Is Amazon's Cloud Player. Cloud Player was
let's see
not
it.
actually a native iPad app until recently, and boy, is it nice.
So this is if you're putting your music on the Amazon cloud.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I do. All my records are on there. I should.
So not all of mine are, but for a time, this actually was when I would buy an album, this was my service of choice because there was still DRM and
Not
iTunes.
anymore?
What do you mean, not anymore?
Well,
I'm
not your service of choice?
I'm just not buying a lot of music.
Who
these
buys
days.
music? You use Spotify.
I use RDO.
Or RDO.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's how I listen to Third Eye Blind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to buy that. I'm just going to listen to it and then, forget it. It's disposable. But no, this is really nice. So I'm looking at an album view here. This is so funny. These are like all the albums that I was really interested in a few years ago. But this is album view, or I've got my artist view. If I had playlist, I really haven't put that together. That would be there. I've got a nice song view. If I want to go ahead and listen to it, the album art comes up front and center. And this is, some Radiohead. I won't play too much of it. But it's a really good song.
It makes me depressed. I don't know why.
Radiohead makes you depressed?
Yeah, doesn't it make you depressed?
Why does it feel too intelligent?
Yes.
You're like, I just can't handle
They make me feel
this.
dumb.
I just want to hear some Carly Rae.
Yeah. Now that's a singer.
Radiohead makes you feel depressed. It depends on the song. There's some Radiohead stuff that's very, I know what you mean, kind of.
It's a little grim feeling.
Well, but hey,
Industrial.
life is hard. And then you die. Yeah. And that's, Radiohead just wants to tell it like it is. I like this. It's very nice. It pulled from the cloud easily, as you can see.
It's downloading.
It plays really
you will
well.
want to, if you use it and you have a lot of songs on Amazon, which I do. It takes a while to get all of this, the library updated. It's still updating for me. So you might want to start that early. As you can see, it's adding stuff.
Because you have so much. Yeah,
I have everything.
My 6 albums came up like that.
Oh no, yeah, but I have
no problem.
I probably have 10,000 songs on there.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, that's it's a nice little update. If you've if you're not using Cloud Player, it might be a good time to give it a go.
Right.
If you're an Amazon fan, or if you have in the past and just for whatever reason didn't think it was great for your iPad, it's very nice. Yeah. It's really, really nice.
Cool.
So well designed. Good on ya, Amazon.
It's funny because I've had it on here and I didn't notice it got updated. So thank you for letting me know.
Well, you're very welcome. That's kind of the point of the show.
I love being on this show.
So you learn as we go along.
I learn. Yeah.
Did you know that Ferrari is giving out iPad Minis?
If you buy a Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's not exactly free.
No. So
it's like their repair book?
949 HP LaFerrari. It's a hybrid vehicle. Ooh. And apparently, the situation is that it's a 4-seater and it has Siri voice integration. So that's, that's cool. But then it also ships with 2 iPad minis to keep anyone in the backseat entertained.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's almost like, come on. I mean, if
they're not attached to the
seat.
If
you can afford a Ferrari, do you really need 2 free iPad
true,
minis?
True. Yeah.
It's beautiful, though.
That's 1987. Yeah, I feel like we're playing.
Sort of like the
this
evolution.
feels like Need for Speed. I feel like I'm playing a game.
I know.
That's the closest I'll ever get to that.
Well, you drive a sports car, so you know.
I like my Mustang, but I don't have a. Actually, I do. If you ever get in the back seat of my Mustang, I have 2 iPad minis back there. That's all I can fit.
That's the thing. It's like the back seats. It's like no wonder they want to give people iPad minis. You can't even fit a 4th gen.
The only reason they put in the back seat in a car like this is because they don't want it to be, taxed at the higher sports car rate. Oh yeah, it's a family car with gull wings.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. I would love to drive that.
See, I'm not a sports car person. I'm missing that chip in my brain that gets excited about this.
But it's a chick magnet.
See, I'm not going to tell you what I think.
I know what you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's a double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. Some chicks go, whoa, stay away from that guy.
Some chicks go.
That's not my kind of guy.
Yep. It's, I don't know, it looks uncomfortable, but it does have 2 iPad minis, so there you go. Ferrari is on the pulse of what iPad owners are interested in.
I like my Mustang. I'm sticking with that.
Did you see the tweet that Phil Schiller sent out?
No.
Where he said...
He's tweeted like 4 times in his life.
Well, one of them was, be safe out there, and it was a link to a story about how most of the malware is happening on Android devices. So...
Oh, come on. Oh, come on, Phil.
It's true.
I like his icon. His avatar.
Is some
That's
superhero?
Space Ghost. Yeah, Space Ghost.
Sorry, I don't know my avatar.
You don't know Space Ghost?
Sorry. Gosh. Okay, yes. I'm losing all my geek cred.
Do you think that's the Phil Schiller? Why would he have Space Ghost as his avatar?
Because he likes Space Ghost just
He
as
likes
much
coast
as
to
you do.
coast. What can we say?
That's bizarre.
You don't think... So I got a little chuckle out of this. I found it on 9to5Mac. That Phil Schiller was just... I mean, he wasn't even saying, like, here, I'm spreading the word. He's just like...
Be safe out
be
there.
safe
Don't
out there,
drive
people,
Android.
People who've made the wrong choice. Hope you're wearing your
please.
seatbelt, because it's dangerous.
Do you
Slippery
feel...
slope.
You probably, though... Well, let's see if this is working. Do you
All
feel
right.
safer using your iPhone? See, he's verified.
Well, I gotta tell you, I don't spend a lot of time worrying about viruses and
Right.
malware.
Me neither.
And, I mean, there are
Yeah.
some apps that are really shady.
But you can tell immediately. They're like
it's-
cheesy. The
right.
grammar's bad.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
just
it's not the
you're
kind
not
of stuff
gonna
that,
download those.
we spend so much time looking at apps for various shows at Twit that I feel like I'm pretty good at weeding that stuff out. So no, I mean, I know it's not foolproof,
Right.
but it's not a big concern either.
Right.
There's probably more. It's less of the Wild West type of mentality than Android, and so there's good and bad portions.
Just
of that.
don't give your iPhone to anybody because they could just get right by the lock screen.
That too.
Be safe out there.
Right. Hold on to it.
If you're wondering what he linked to, it's a
Physically.
PDF from F-Secure.
A mobile. Oh, that's never linked to PDFs. Right there is a problem.
Why?
You shouldn't link to PDF. If you're going
Why?
to do a link, it should be to a web page, not to a 400-page document that I have to download before I can read it. That's just not okay, Phil. Especially with a
can
tweet.
read a PDF.
Especially with a tweet that doesn't indicate what I'm going to get. So people go, be safe out there, and they see a link and they click it and they download
Oh, yeah.
a 400-page report.
That's right. Poor Phil Schiller didn't get the memo that you always have to add context to every link that you post on Twitter, as every one of us do.
I do. I think it's just good Twitter
please.
behavior.
Oh,
Don't do.
come on.
All right.
All right. Hey, so
All right.
So let's not argue anymore.
Let's read an ad? Yeah. Okay. Hey, actually, you do want me to read this one.
I do.
Because this is our iPad giveaway.
Oh, yes. Oh, fine.
It continues on, my friends. A chance for you. In fact, look, our new iPad just came that we're giving away. So watch, because this means... You know what? That's how I know we're going to have a new iPad, because right when we give this away, Apple's going to announce the new iPad like they did last time, and we'll be giving you an iPad 4 instead of the hot new iPad 5.
Oh, my gosh, that's right. That was the last giveaway.
That was the level we happened
'Cause we
last
were like,
time.
Oh, no.
It made me mad. I don't need a razor blade. I'm gonna slowly peel this off one strip at a time.
With your new iPad that we're giving
Anyway, this is the one we're gonna give away.
away.
It's not engraved because we don't know who you are yet.
Yeah, no, we don't
So
know
let me
who
let me
won.
set this up first of all
All
by
right.
telling you about GoToMeeting, which is the absolute best online meeting software ever from Citrix. You can set it up on your computer or even join meetings on the iPad, which is awfully nice. What does it say? GoToMeeting iPad winner. Congratulations.
To iPad Today podcast winner from your friends at GoToMeeting.
Yeah, it uses the word podcast, huh? Yeah, well, somebody should give them the memo. But anyway, we'll just this one must be engraved as well, right? Let's just see what this one says.
I guess. I don't know. I thought it wasn't.
GoToMeeting.com. If you want to take a look, this is an awesome. Nowadays everybody's distributed all over the world. You got clients and colleagues everywhere, and it's kind of a nice thing if you can to be able to meet with them, to be able to collaborate, to work together, to train. And so I just think it's a really nice thing to have GoToMeeting. You can do it on your iPhone, your iPad, your Android device, and of course your Mac or your PC. What's great is you can present in a meeting from your iPad, use the camera on your iPad or your computer to share HD video. So it really is like you're meeting in person. It is a great way to work together. You got to try this free for 30 days. All you have to do is visit GoToMeeting.com. use the promo code iPad. And by the way, the iPad app is free, so you can download that. I'm not going to open it up. We want to leave it sealed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But this is the iPad. So would you like to win this iPad?
Yes.
Here's how you could do it. All you got to do is do a little tweeting for us. Phil Schiller, you can even do this, okay? I want you to tweet with the hashtags. There's 2 hashtags you need. Hashtag iPad Sarah, S-A-R-A-H.
Oh, you got to make sure you spell my name right,
Yep.
or
And
you don't win.
You know what? If you kind of
Squat.
do it without an H, it's all right. As long as the main one is, it's got to be hashtag go to meeting, okay?
Go to
But if you
meeting.
have iPad Sarah or some version thereof, we'll know it's for the contest. And we want
Well,
you to
it would
tweet.
be nice if you spelled it right. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
we want you to tweet if you could host a meeting from anywhere using GoToMeeting. Where would you be, and why? And already, if you just search for the hashtag.
People are going nuts.
GoToMeeting
There was
or
some
iPad
guy who was
Sarah.
like, I wouldn't go anywhere. I would just sit at home and watch iPad Today. And that's
You
fine
are
too.
a winner, sir.
That's
Well,
fine too, because you're being honest.
the truth is, you're not winning based on your tweet. We're going to put all the tweets, no matter how good or bad,
it's a random.
in a pile, and
Yeah.
we're going to have a random drawing.
But have fun with it.
Oh, this is really great. So, because GoToMeeting makes it possible to meet anywhere with their fantastic mobile apps and even present from an iPad, we're going to give you. And you know what? Remember, it's a little chilly maybe where you are. It just snowed, by the way, in Dedham, Mass. Wouldn't you rather be?
Where did it snow?
Where Paul Thurrott is, in Dedham.
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 Oh, Mass. I hear you.
Massachusetts.
It took.
You're going to Miami. You don't have to worry about this.
I'm
But
in Miami.
but maybe that's where, if you're in Massachusetts, you'd like to be. I'd like to be hosting a meeting in South Beach with Sarah and her bikini-clad friends. You could be that, and then hashtag iPad Sarah, hashtag go to meeting, and then we are going to have the drawing. The contest ends at midnight, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time, Monday, March 11th. So you don't have a lot of time. You got a few days. The winner will be announced next week's iPad Today, March
Sweet.
14th. All right?
This is so exciting.
Look, see, there's already quite a few. If I can host a meeting from anywhere with GoToMeeting, I would host it from the can. Okay, Lorenzo. Don't turn on your camera. Thank you very much. Have a meeting with the person who stole my old iPad last year. I love iPad Today. So hashtag GoToMeeting, hashtag iPad Sarah, and we do read them because it's fun, but you're not going to be judged. We will not judge. We will merely pick at random one winner, and that wasn't the iPad. That was something else. And we'll announce it on the show next week. But you have till March 11th at midnight Pacific time. Thank you, GoToMeeting, for making it so much fun.
Yeah.
I love that. And do try the program. It's really awesome. All right.
So,
Yes.
I just want to make sure I'm not going to show you
Do you
somebody's.
see? Now, by the way,
There we
Google
go.
just released Field Trip, which is an Android app for iOS.
I haven't even played with it. I
It's
saw
kinda
that
cool.
earlier.
It's on the iPhone, not on the iPad, and there's a reason. It's really designed for you carrying it in your pocket as you walk around, because when you walk by a place of interest, I actually had to delete it. It got so annoying. But when you walk by a place of interest, you say, "Did you know?" It's like your like know-it-all cousin in your pocket. Did you know that Peggy Sue Got Married was filmed here in 1984?
It's like you're on a museum audio tour of the world.
Of the world. But
you don't always want to know.
Yeah, so you should only turn it on when you're somewhere that you want, like you're in Paris. Then it might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know, Victor Hugo wrote Les Miserables here in 1609 or
Is that
whatever.
what it sounds like?
No,
That's
it's
neat.
actually a nice lady.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Hey, so we got a definite contender for Today in iWeird.
Today in iWeird.
Yeah, I made that up. It's every once in a while we just get a weird email, so I call it Today in iWeird. This is from Jermaine. He lives in Philadelphia, PA, and he made an iPad stand out of a
Piece of tree.
well, sort of a Kleenex box.
Oh.
He calls
That's
it
not very firm.
He called it a tissue box because maybe it's not actually a Kleenex brand, but he
Right.
says, "Hey, you know
Well,
what?
it looks
works.
like it holds it.
Look at it. I mean, the bezel is so thick." It works out just fine for Jermaine.
Yeah.
And look at the nice tissue box.
That's
you know,
a
it's got
mini, by the way.
it's
You
got a
wouldn't want
nice-
to do it with a full-size iPad.
Well, I don't think you could
No.
unless you get it from Costco or something where it's like a giant Kleenex
Giant
box.
Kleenex box.
Yeah.
You know what? There's another way to do this.
There's what? Oh, okay. I was wondering when you were going to do this. Sorry, Jermaine, you're about to get one-upped.
This is from Thomas Borowski.
Okay.
And it's called the Groovboard. It's made in Bavaria, and he designed it because he wanted to use the iPad on a couch without having to hold it. And he wanted to use a keyboard but he didn't want to get like kind of a cheesy. You know, he thinks that something like the Logitech is inferior to Apple's own wireless keyboard. So he wants to use Apple's Bluetooth keyboard. Now, he says this is a one-man and one-dog, no ponies show, completely bootstrapped, no venture capital in the outback of Bavaria. Groovboard is Groovboard, and they're on Twitter, and they're on Facebook, or go to grooveboard.co. And look, I got one. He sent me one. He said, by the way, this is kind of cool. It's made out of apple wood.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
It's really beautiful.
So it's really, I mean, the wood is gorgeous.
It's really nice.
And it comes with a Grooveboard carrying case, a
It's
Grooveboard
been so long
polishing
since we showed
cloth.
off a cool stand.
Isn't this nice? I think this guy, and then coupons for $5 off you can give to, here, I'll give you one, friends, family, and coworkers.
Well, don't give them to me. Give it to somebody less fortunate.
And safety precautions. Oh, because there's magnets. There's some, he has to include that because there's some pretty heavy magnets in
I
here.
see.
Yeah.
So that it
doesn't
snaps
fall
in.
apart,
Yeah.
right.
Neat. Oh, it's really very lovely.
Oh my. That's me probably.
Oh.
And my phone.
Why don't you turn...
My phone's, it's supposed to be off.
Why don't you turn the ringer off when we're doing the show?
It's supposed to be.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It's supposed to be. Oh, it says I'm supposed to be doing iPad today.
Oh.
Yeah. I have this
Thank
thing that where
goodness
you
you
put
get
it
these
face down. It's
notifications.
supposed to make no noise.
Oh, well.
Doesn't
Android.
seem to be working anymore.
Failing you, huh?
You know, Phil Schiller was right.
Interesting. Malware and
Okay.
really loud.
I can't.
I think that what you're Leo. Don't
Is that the
break it.
mag?
Oh.
It's the magnets.
Oh. I was like.
They're strong.
Okay. Well, good.
Wow.
Now we know.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
They're strong. Okay, so let me figure out how you do this. Okay, flat mode with a keyboard. So you put your iPad in here. Let me just figure this out. Okay, I'm gonna take out my iPad. This stand, by the way, people often ask us about this stand, was also handmade, but in this case by a viewer who does not sell it.
No, it was just
sad
something
to say.
special for you.
So you put your, that's pretty solid. That's nice.
If somebody is going to email about this, I will just stop you right now.
That's a piece of junk. Don't buy it.
Airdesks.com.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's actually served us very well. We've got 2 of them, and I mean, they get beat up pretty badly. But they're a little, the wear and tear is very obvious, but airdesks.com if you're interested.
And this Bluetooth fits in right here. Actually, you know what?
That's awesome.
That really works.
I really like that.
That really works, and you can totally do it in your lap like this.
It's just, yeah.
Very solid. And then if you're not
nice.
using the keyboard, you can break off this extra
Break me
part.
off a piece of that.
Kit Kat bar.
Well, yeah.
Look at that, made in beautiful Bavaria. Out of Applewood. Isn't that pretty?
Home of Oktoberfest.
$153 for EU customers because of the value-added tax. But actually, I think that's a very fair $119 if you're buying it in the U.S. because there's no value-added. And, of course, you have to add shipping. And they're back-ordered because he's making these by hand. So
and it's a beautiful gift.
if you wanted, I think this would be a gorgeous gift.
Yeah.
The Groovboard. Anyway, thank you, Thomas, for sending that along.
Really nice.
That's really great. Do
Absolutely
you use a
lovely.
keyboard with your iPad?
Not regularly because I am stupid. And
No, you're not stupid.
Well,
no, that's not.
I just try to.
Don't feel bad.
I don't know why.
But the reason there's 2 grooves is you could also put the iPad in the second groove like that. And
that's well, it sits back more. So it's how you like your line of sight to be.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
good. You got options.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really neat. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Jermaine. Your Kleenex box iPad stand.
It was
suddenly
good.
Looks a little
It was
bit,
innovative.
It was. Well, you know what? Jermaine is all
cheap.
about the DIY.
Yeah.
This is DIY on a whole
On a
other
big
level.
scale.
So there's you know
Yeah.
it's just as long as you're making
Wow.
stuff, that's all good.
Wow, that is really, really neat.
Tell me what the website is for anybody who wants to check this out for a gift or for themselves.
Yeah, GROOVBOARD.co.
Grooveboard.
Groovboard. We'll put that in the show notes
Grooveboard
too.
with no E.
It does make it almost like a laptop at that point, because it's kind of a big thing.
Well,
So-
but that's, everyone talks about tablets aren't enough. It has to be hybrid, blah, blah, blah.
A
If
lot
you have
of
an iPad
people-
and you love it, then this is getting
I'm impressed
close to
by
that.
the number of people who use their iPad is their all and everything.
Yeah.
Is their be all end all their computer.
I know.
And for that, you really do want a keyboard for your
You,
game.
There's nobody can tell me that they never want a keyboard. The keyboard really does help in certain situations.
Not always.
Once in a while, you're going to have to type. We got a bit of a Dutch tip, but this is from Sammy in Michigan. This is in response to last week when I showed off Cloud Clip. That was where you can copy from your Mac or an iOS device to another iOS device, copy and paste, instead of emailing a link to yourself or that sort of thing. Sammy says, I loved Cloud Clip that you showed on episode 138, but I realized you can do the same exact thing in an easier way.
How?
If you use Gmail, that is. He says, my Gmail account is on my phone, it's on my iPad, it's on my MacBook Pro. In Gmail, you have a feature called Notes. If you have it checked and included from your iOS device's email settings, as well as email and calendar and that sort of thing, if I need text, you just copy and paste that text inside Notes on any of your Apple devices,
and then
a second later, it's just available on all of the other devices.
And I have that. That's really true. I have done that.
Have you?
Yeah.
I never have before, but I tried it out, and he's right.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually really handy. The Notepad, now that it syncs across, even to the desktop, if you have Mountain Lion, it's kind of handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are you talking about iOS and OS 10? He's talking about Gmail. Inside Gmail, you have something called Notes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Notes for iOS. A reasonable confusion.
This is my Google app, and I've got Gmail open. I've got my Notes area. I don't want to show you all my email, but like if you want to,
you could paste it there as well.
Add a note.
Got it.
Well, that's actually a new email. If you want to add a note from within Gmail, even if you're on a Windows PC and you're using Gmail, it would show up there as well. So that's just, that's another option for anybody who's Gmail heavy and you've always got it open on your devices.
I mean, true, but you mean this Apple Notes just does it too. That's another.
That's true.
It's built in.
Yeah.
You see, I've pasted in something here.
What?
I could explain something about this. See, there's Sarah Lane and there's two squares.
Because you used emojis or something.
You used emojis, and I couldn't figure, and I never did find out what those two emojis were.
Oh.
I thought, well, surely if I paste it in the notes, it will say, oh, that's an emoji. Nope.
Yeah, emojis, I guess, don't work in notes? We'll try.
No, they do. So here's the thing. I guess it was an Android, and I looked at it. Or it was we were using an app that I didn't, or maybe it was just SMS. But for whatever reason, the emoji didn't come through. So, and it came through as two squares. So I thought, well, maybe if I paste it into an iOS app, no.
No, unfortunately, you'll never know.
I'll never know what two emojis. That's kind of fun. There's a real mystery there.
Yeah.
I will never know.
Yeah, that happens on Twitter every once in a while. I'll like send an emoji, and then someone's using a Twitter client where
that doesn't support it.
And then they're like, there were some rectangles. I don't know. What was it mean? What does it mean? And then it's like, it was a joke, and now you don't get it. And everything's ruined.
Ruined.
So thanks, Sammy. If anybody has a question about how those work, you can email us iPadtoday@twit.tv. Hopefully I explained it okay. But basically, Gmail has its own little notes area.
You did, and I must have missed the part where you said Gmail, because I heard notes, and I thought, oh, iOS
Well,
notes.
that works as well.
But
not on Windows.
No, it's only.
You can open it on the web page.
That's right.
iCloud. So
iCloud, you can open it on iCloud too. That's right.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's how I got rid of that file / problem. I wrote it in the notes, and it would crash every time I opened it.
What's
so
a file / problem?
If you do file : / it's a bug in Macintosh. It'll crash the app. Crash the app. Yeah. So how did you get rid of it?
So I had to go to a Windows machine, open it in the iCloud,
Type
web
it
browser.
in there, otherwise it would.
No, then delete it from there because it was syncing across all my devices. Yeah.
Oh, you crashed everything.
Yes.
Smart.
Yes.
That's good.
You know what doesn't crash? Thank goodness. No matter how many people.
Squarespace.com. I knew where you're going because when you want a site that just will not. We do this all the time. We break sites regularly. We say, everybody go to that site, and it just dies, but not if it's a Squarespace site. And that's why I really love Squarespace. It is the all-in-one platform, hosting plus content management, that makes it easy to create a website that could be a portfolio for your photography, a blog, or just a way to keep in touch with family and friends. And now, and this is the newest feature on Squarespace, if you want to sell digital or physical goods, they've got a commerce solution to an online store at squarespace.com. It's integrated to work with every Squarespace template. So if you're, in love with your template, don't worry, it's going to absolutely work great with the sales. Physical and digital books, you could sell, say, CDs or MP3s or ebooks or hardcover books. It's very easy, even if you don't have a credit card capability, you know, they call that a merchant account. It's very easy to set up your merchant account, so you'll be accepting credit cards or debit cards right away. I love that. It's a very simple interface that can track order management, orders, provide customer email updates, print shipping labels, add coupons. Yes, it supports coupons. And get this, all of that is part of the business plan, $24 a month when you sign up for a year. $24 a month. And that includes unlimited everything. Unlimited bandwidth, you'll never get a bill for being too popular. That's just wrong to get a bill for being too popular. You'll never get a bill for too much space taken up. You've got inventory tracking, all the features you need. And when you register for a year, you'll even get the domain name free, and they'll hook it up to your Squarespace site. You got to love this. Now, you could try Squarespace. Just go to Squarespace, including the commerce. Just go to squarespace.com, click the Try Me button. If you decide you want to stick with it, and you can import all your existing content, by the way. They've got importers for all the major blog platforms. If you decide you want to stick with it, use our offer code, and this is the only time you need to use it, iPad Today 3 during the purchase process. You'll get 10% off that first purchase with new accounts. So that's why buying a year would make a lot of sense or more. Squarespace.com. Try it free for 2 weeks. You don't need a credit card or anything, but you do if you decide you want to buy. You need to use the offer code iPad Today and the number 3, because we're in March.
And that's the 3rd month of the year.
We're in March. Can you believe that?
Oh, it all makes sense now.
Can you believe that?
Oh, yeah. No, I can't. It's almost April, and then it'll be...
St. Patrick's Day.
Well, before then, even.
Yeah.
It'll be St. Patrick's Day. And my cats turn 6 at the end of April.
Oh, I know. That's a sad time when they turn 6. Suddenly they're in middle age now.
I just tried to think of something that was significant.
They're
in
not
April.
kitties anymore. I can't believe you know your cat's birthday.
Excuse me. It's the biggest day of the year in my household. I don't want to celebrate my own birthday.
Is there more than... Do they share a birthday? Or
Yes, they have the same birthday.
Is that...
because
artificial...
they were born on the same day.
What? Really?
Yes.
What are the chances of that?
Well, during kitten season, the chances are very high.
Oh.
Lots of kittens get born all the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, but you got the cats independently?
Well, they came together from the SPCA.
Oh, you got them.
Not,
they were like a set, a matching set.
They don't know that they're not related.
They think they're sibs.
They think they're twins. They're not.
They're not.
Well, have you seen them? They're not twins, but whatever, doesn't matter. So we got an email from Chris in Nashville, Tennessee. I've never seen
them because you don't let me in your place.
Well, that's not true.
No.
You can come over anytime.
No, it's always hey, it was a great evening. Goodbye.
Bye,
Slam
Leo.
the door in my
Go
face.
Home? You're late. Bye. Bye-bye. Don't run out of gas now.
And I'm going like this.
I post pictures.
And I'm standing there for like, and it's like.
It's almost like we need an HR department sometimes. Almost. I post pictures of my cats on Instagram and Path and Flickr and sometimes Twitter and Facebook constantly.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah,
I've seen them. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Would you like me to post more? Maybe I'm not posting enough.
No, you're posting plenty.
Okay, good. Chris K. in Nashville, Tennessee has a little response to Penultimate, which we talked about last week. That was one of our handy-dandy apps.
Love that app.
And I was talking about, ooh, handwriting recognition. That's really cool. And he says, don't forget that you can take a picture of like a whiteboard, say, maybe you're at work and somebody's sketching something out, you know, sort of like a storyboard of something that has to happen.
Yeah.
And even a picture, not something that you're actually drawing with a stylus in Penultimate, will show up in the handwriting recognition.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so he had sent us something that he had taken of work, but I didn't want to show it on the show.
No, because we don't know.
I just, you know, I didn't know if you meant it for me or for everybody. But that's cool because, you know, I'm not sketching so much stuff necessarily, but, you know, on an iPad by myself.
But we do whiteboards all the time.
Yeah, in our conference room or in Lisa's office, and there's all sorts of stuff that we're, you know, we're brainstorming show ideas, that sort of thing. You just take a photo, and then you can search for that later. So, thank you, Chris. That's a good reminder because I didn't even mention that last week. We also got an email from, okay, so Leo, you know more about security, I would say, from Security Now, obviously with Steve Gibson. That is not security.
I'm still waiting.
That is the opposite of security.
It's insecurity.
Chad just totally screwed that up.
He didn't get the shot?
Nobody knows what you were doing.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Never mind.
No, it doesn't matter.
You don't want to see it anyway.
That's my new thing. Doesn't matter. You don't want to know.
She's very relaxed this way now. The new Sarah just doesn't care.
Yeah, that's for sure. Don't give a So Adam Smith in San Francisco, California wrote us and said,
Yes.
I've got a super easy method of remembering unique and secure passwords. We were talking about LastPass last week, 1Password as well. So tell me if you think Adam's got a good idea.
Okay.
Each password I use is broken up into 2 halves. The first half is unique to each site, which I keep in a Google Doc so it's available anytime I need it. The second half is the same for every site, but it's never written down anywhere. If I forget a password, I just look up the first half in my notes and append the second half from my brain.
He doesn't care if somebody gets the notes because it's not good, it's not sufficient.
Yeah.
Now, here's the only thing wrong with that.
All right.
Remember the Evernote crack, which we actually, I don't think we've mentioned, but Evernote, if you have Evernote, you got a password reset.
Exactly, yeah, that happened over the weekend.
And you know, Evernote really responded well. Apparently passwords had been stolen, but they were encrypted, so it's likely that the bad guy didn't actually get your password, but they still made everybody on Evernote reset their password just in case. But here's the scenario that this could be a problem.
Okay.
So I got your let's say I got your Evernote password, or Twitter has had this happen, or others, and you'd use this technique on every site. Well, I have that second half because it's the second half of your Evernote password. And if I go around a little bit and I start to think about this a little bit, I might actually try this second half on another password. So in fact, because you're using this second half, even though it's only on your brain, it's on every single site you log into.
Yeah, half of your password is already common. And
it's compromised. So it could be compromised. So I still think, while this is okay, it's probably fine. I use, and Steve Gibson did recommend this, you can use the same padding on every password just to make it longer. The longer password is much, much harder to brute force. So it could be exclamation point dot 12 times or something like that. Easy to remember, easy to type. But by just adding 12 characters to any password makes it exponentially harder to solve. And you could do that, as long as that first part is really still pretty good and random. I love the idea of you could use 1Password if you prefer, or LastPass or KeePass, to generate long, secure, totally random, totally unique passwords. That's still the best way to do it.
That you don't have to remember.
And you don't have to remember them.
That's the whole.
You don't have to keep them in a Google Doc.
Service.
You've already got it in a password storage facility. And you never have this issue of if one password's compromised, it might weaken your other passwords, which is a problem with his system.
Well, and my system is, this happened earlier today when I could not remember my Yahoo login. So it's like, I just have to reset my password all the time.
Effin Dunn asked, but aren't you storing your passwords with the company? No, and that's the beauty of LastPass. It's totally encrypted. They can't see it. So yeah, you're storing them, but you're storing an encrypted file.
Including you.
Yeah, and maybe not even you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, a good system that's why we recommend LastPass. Steve Gibson looked at it, vetted it, and said, you know what, this is done exactly right, and you're safe.
All right, Adam. So valiant and creative effort, but
I think unnecessary too, right? A little extra work. LastPass is free.
We got this is just great. So we got a video from Major Jack Prindle. He is a commander at electronic crimes in the Boone County Sheriff's Department in Kentucky. And this is in response to last week. Remember, we sort of laughed a little bit about that New York Post article about the iPad task force.
Yeah.
You know, they're cracking down.
Well, now they might in Boone, Kentucky. They might.
Well, he actually says that no, they work on this stuff a lot. He sent us a very long.
That's a very different town than New York, New York.
But there are thieves.
Yeah, but there's 7 million people in New York, New York. That's my point.
Well, we had said if you are familiar with something,
in Petaluma,
if you are familiar with the idea of law enforcement getting some iPads back, I think we said New York specifically.
Well, we did,
Kentucky's
because that's why it's harder to believe. In Petaluma, if you got stolen, you could very well expect the Petaluma police to help you out. They do. But if you do it, if it's in New York, and you go to the NYPD and say, please, I've lost my iPad, I just find it hard to believe that they're going to track it down.
Do you want to hear Major Jack Prindle's story?
Yes, Jack, go ahead.
Okay, so he sent us a long video, but we're going to listen to the story portion of it.
Okay.
I'm a major with the Boone County Sheriff's Department here in northern Kentucky and have ran the electronic crime unit since 2001. It's the same geographical area here in northern Kentucky that Ryan Shrout from PC Perp hails from. And we've had several iPhones and iPads that we've recovered with the assistance of people using the Find My iPhone application. Probably the most interesting story was somebody had their house broken into and their iPad was stolen. And the victim had the Find My iPhone app enabled. And with the assistance of the detective, they were able to track the iPad to an address. and went to the address, and it turned out to be an apartment building. And couldn't really track in particular as to which apartment
Yeah, see, that's tricky.
that it was in.
Which floor?
So they started sounding the alarm, and they finally were able to hear the alarm coming from a particular apartment. And the detective banged on the door, tried to get somebody to answer. He could tell somebody was inside the apartment, but nobody ever came to the door.
Let me in, I hear an iPad.
And they surrounded the place, went and got a search warrant based upon the information they had.
They got a search warrant.
On obtaining the search warrant and executing the search warrant, the people answered the door. In a search of the residence, they recovered the iPad in a couple dozen pieces in the garbage can in the bathroom.
You know what happened?
They smashed it.
They were like, why is this iPad doing this?
They should have flushed it down the toilet.
Turn off the alarm.
Yeah.
Turn off the alarm.
They broke it up.
Get rid of it.
So it's not exactly a happy ending, but they did catch the perps.
No, yes, the perps will have their day.
They will have their day in court.
The iPad tragically was sacrificed.
I think
for the
Boone,
good of law.
I would guess, and I might be wrong, but Boone is probably a low-crime town, probably a nice town, nice people. So the sheriff probably had enough time to go get a search warrant and go through this whole process.
They're not going to do that for you in New York City.
I don't
Can
think
you imagine
so.
a search warrant?
Well, and most of the buildings in New York City are a little taller than 2 or 3 stories, and so you got to go all the way up 30 stories and down listening for that alarm.
It might take all day.
I don't think so.
If that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Thank you, Mr. Prindle. I liked your story very much.
We
it's
all,
nice to know that people care.
We raise a glass to the iPad that died.
Pour out a little liquor for your dead homie.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
hey, my sling box is here.
Hey,
can you get me my sling box?
While we are getting Leo's sling box, just a reminder that we love hearing from everybody, and thanks so much for sending us the videos and the emails and the voicemails and all that good stuff. Write us at iPadAday@twit.tv. Leave us a voicemail at 757-504-IPAD, or send us a video, upload it somewhere like Vimeo or YouTube or something like that, and send us the link, and we will try to play it on a future episode of the show. 30 seconds or less is the sweet spot. Thank you.
Thank you, John. He brought me my my new sling box.
Oh,
the 500.
That's the fancy one.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's the one that looks like a museum.
So I'm gonna hook this up tonight.
I'm gonna hook it up.
Hook it up. I'll hook you up with the sling box. So why would you install a sling box? Well, let me give you an example.
Okay.
Let's say you've got an iPad. Actually, you'll work on a laptop, an iPhone, an Android device, but let's say you're doing it on an iPad. You get the Slingbox app on your iPad, and now you're traveling out and about. Maybe there's the big games on, or you got a DVR and you'd like to record something, and you say, gee, I don't want to head all the way home just to watch the game. Well, if you've got this little puppy, look at that, beautiful. That's a Slingbox 500.
Ooh, yeah.
Hooked up. By the way, we know it's HDMI. They got HDMI in and HDMI out, so you could pass it right through. That's actually a good way to do it. That way, your DVR or whatever, you hook it up, and then you hook it up to your TV.
It's really not.
What? I think it got left in the sun. It looks like, John says, it got left in the sun and warped. No, that's the design. It's pretty. It's like a Frank Gehry building.
It actually is. It's not clunky. It's sort of.
No, it's pretty. The old
sleek.
Slingbox was a little strange looking, I have to say. This is much nicer, and all the features. Now they do high def. You hook up your whole system, your DVR. Your cable box, satellite box, whatever you've got in your TV system. And then, now this has Wi-Fi, so you can use the Wi-Fi or plug in the Ethernet. You get better results if you can. Plug in the Ethernet. And now you can watch in high def on your iPad anything that's in your home theater system.
You don't have to be home.
You don't have to be home, or you could be. You could be in the bathroom.
Right.
When I sit out and about,
it's not like you have to be like within your Wi-Fi
you have
network
to be
or anything.
online, and so you could be across the world, somewhere else in the world, and able to watch your home system. No additional fees. Watch your favorite shows anywhere, anytime, even play back and record on your DVR, and the picture quality is amazing. Now, I've even seen people with their iPhones kind of surreptitiously in a restaurant on a date watching the TV. Don't you do that.
You know, if it's the playoffs, if it's March Madness, can you blame them?
You can't really blame them, Chairman. Never miss a show you want to watch in high def. Slingbox.com/Twitter, or visit Best Buy, Fry's, or Amazon and pick your Slingbox up. This is the way to turn your iPad into what it really wants to be, a personal television system. Thank you, Slingbox.
Oh, well, it looks like we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day a little early.
Oh, look, I got the little feather.
That
and
is so
everything.
cute. Is that new?
Yeah, I got this in Nolans.
I love it.
Meyer the Hatter.
I also am in green.
You are, Chairman.
Yeah.
I like that. You know where I got that?
I'm not as, you know, as...
Got that in Beijing.
Did you really? Yeah?
I'm trying to remember. I think I must have.
Well.
I doubt I got it in communist Russia. I think that's from China.
Yeah. How old is it?
It's yeah.
No, it's
well, that's the funny thing is you can get all the old commie stuff, the old Soviet Union stuff, real cheap in Russia. They don't want it anymore.
No, they're happy.
In fact, somebody told me, because I got a hat with all the, in fact, I still have it with all the buttons and they got this hammer and sickle and stuff. And I said, isn't this cool? I guess these were surplus. And somebody told me, no, they make them for tourists. They make all the old commie stuff in the old Soviet Union stuff, and they sell it to tourists.
Oh, for nostalgia, or just like,
I think
look what I found
the
in an
tourists
antique store.
Like me. Oh, there you go. There's
That kind
Chairman
of
Mao. Yep.
Oh I look like him.
You do.
Yeah.
You even got that mole on the cheek.
You know,
yeah. Yep.
That's what
your
I meant.
Chairman
I look like
Mao.
him.
Chairman Sarah Jung Il.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mao Zedong.
That's not an endorsement of any political system.
Certainly not.
Or any ism.
No.
Any more than I'm endorsing heavy drinking of beer.
Green beer at that.
Not at all.
But it was fun. So anyway, for anybody who's maybe tuning in for the first time and is
Why
like,
are we wearing hats?
Boy, those people have gone off the rails for reals. This is the part of the show where Leo and I put on hats, which we call app caps, and we talk about the two apps, well, one for me, one for Leo, that we just like over the last week. Mine, I'm very excited about. We have talked about this company in the past, Cool Iris. It is better than ever.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think it started on Android, but now it's on iOS. We
Did it
interviewed
start
the
on
guy
Android?
who worked for them and wrote all their stuff. He's the guy who does EverPix now. But he was the king of the Quartz composer.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You are
yeah.
absolutely right. That's, gosh, that
Cool
good,
Iris. And then they sold
memory.
their code to Android for the gallery on Android phones. So what do they have on iOS?
So this is great. So you say to yourself, all right, well, there's all these photos that I have on all corners of the internet, right? So I've got, the photos that are on my iPad, but then, I put a lot of stuff on Flickr or Instagram or, it's just kind of a mess. I mean, I think this is a problem that a lot of different companies are trying to solve.
Yeah.
Is I want to access all my photos that are scattered online.
That's what EverPix is trying to do.
That's true. And EverPix is actually a really cool service.
But you have to pay for it.
I've been playing around with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a free trial, but Cool Iris is completely free. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and hooked up a bunch of my different accounts. So I've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google, and Flickr that are hooked up easily. I could add SmugMug or RenRen if I was using one of those services. So these are Facebook pictures that people have shared, Instagram photos that people have shared. Now you say, oh, well, those are other people's pictures. Okay, so these are the people I'm following. But I can also, it almost kind of has like an Instapaper feel here where I can say, oh, I could search by popular, or I could just search by my own photos.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, and Cool Iris has kind of this neat like 3D effect
that.
when you go fast.
It tilted.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh, that's
both ways
pretty.
too.
Yeah.
And so then I go like, oh yeah, there's that picture of me when I was doing Jello shots that day. That's really fun. Yeah, I actually want to do something with that. I want to save it to my camera roll or maybe save it to Google Drive.
Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah, I was wearing my 49er Snuggie.
Oh.
And I was doing Jello shots. I didn't do enough, obviously, but I tried.
You tried. You did your best.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's part of the fun of
Yep,
Super Bowl Sundays, the
This
Jello
is
shots.
cool.
Did you know that?
No.
Actually makes it a lot more fun.
No, I did not.
Yeah. So
what went
what about images on Twitter? You go like, well, Twitter's, This is all images that people who are sharing things, at least on my timeline on Twitter, are sharing. So I've got that. I can say, my
This
tweets.
is actually great.
It's great. I know. These are photos that I've shared somewhat recently on my Twitter feed. Wow, some of these aren't even that recent. Oh, look at Grumpy Cat. I had forgotten all about that cute picture. So I can go ahead and say, oh, you know what? I want that on my camera roll right now. It was something that I shared on Twitter. I kind of forgot about it. Or there's also stuff that I've shared on Google Drive, stuff I've shared on Flickr, Google Images. If I'm just like, you know what? I actually just want to search for Grumpy Cat. Or have you heard? Are you familiar with Lil Bub? It's the new special cat sensation of the internet.
Lil Bub?
Lil Bub.
No, I don't know
She's
him.
adorable. I'll send you a link later.
It.
Like, oh, see, all right, I can do. I'm good with this. So you can go ahead and just search for stuff off of Google Images, or this is kind of the really cool part. I started a conversation with you earlier. You probably didn't get the notice because you haven't upgraded yet. But this is called Cool Iris Conversations. So if I've got some photos from all over the place, wherever they might be from, that I want to share with you.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I go ahead and say, hey,
Look at
Leo,
that.
let's
I got
try
cat
this.
pictures. Oh my God.
Did you? So okay. So I shared. Well, no, I shared a photo of Lucy, my cat.
Is that Lucy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a photo of me.
Drinking Jello shots.
No, that's drinking champagne. It was very classy.
Oh.
Very classy. And then a picture of me and my friend's cat Ocho, who I was cat sitting recently.
This is great.
Yeah, so
I love this. What a great way to share our pictures. I
and
like
so that's,
that.
I mean, obviously
That's
both people
great.
have to be using Cool Iris Conversations for it to work, but it's a very easy.
I just installed Cool Iris, logged in via my Facebook account, and this happens. So it's not so hard.
No.
To get it working. That's
Exactly.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so this is actually, it's very intuitive. I can tell you, I mean, my Flickr account, for example, that was actually the account where I couldn't remember my stupid Yahoo login, so I had to reset my password. But that's my fault because I have a bad memory. It wasn't Cool Iris's fault. But I mean, the Flickr stuff came up just like that. Here's my photo stream. I can look at my contacts photo stream as well. I actually post a lot of things to Flickr these days. So.
Smug Mug, which is where I put my images too.
Yeah, that's a partner as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I am going to really use
here's
this.
all of my photo sets from Flickr. It just looks good, I mean, it looks really nice. It works really well. It's very easy to go ahead and save stuff. Of the Notre Dame, for example, save to Google Drive. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. I don't even have to save it to my camera roll. I'm going to start saving stuff in Google Drive. So Cool Iris works in a lot of different ways.
I am thrilled.
I'm glad, because sometimes you don't think my app caps are all that cool. So
Most of the time.
finally, I've impressed him.
No, in fact, I've been looking for a good way to
Most of the
collate all my
time.
pictures. No, most of the time they're pretty crappy,
Yeah,
but this
okay.
is a good
Well,
one.
Every once in a while.
Just teasing
Every
you.
once in a while.
I love them all, darling.
What do you got?
No.
I don't even know. This is a surprise because you don't tell me what you're doing before the show.
Well, I don't prepare, as you probably know.
Well, I think that's obvious.
So I asked Chad, what should I show as my app cap?
Chad's just feeding you ideas now.
Yeah.
That's cool. Whatever works.
Well,
I mean, he's enthusiastic anyway. At least 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
He's happy to be here anyway, not me. I could be drinking green beer right now.
There's nobody said that you couldn't.
Did you play Myst when you were a youngster?
No, but I'm familiar with Myst.
If you've played it, this song will bring back some memories. So Cyan, the company that did Myst, did make an iPhone app about 1.5 years ago that was kind of, Myst.
And you showed off an app recently that was sort of
Myst-like, and that's what kind of prompted this.
Yeah.
Because you can actually play the real Myst. Actually, it's better than the original Myst. Myst was a hugely popular Mac game in the 80s, believe it or not. And now you can play Myst on the iPad. And this is the real Myst, except it's even better because it's 3D. They've rendered the images and in 3D, so you're going to love it if you played Myst. Now, Myst is a very simple game. It's a puzzle game. In which you're going to be in an environment, and we'll go into the environment, and you have to solve some puzzles. Now, I'm just beginning the game, so if you ever played this, you will really have some fond memories of it. It's going to take a while, so I'm maybe
this is riveting.
not going to get to show this.
You're not going to get to show the app cap. Your pick of the week. No?
Well, I showed some of it.
You didn't show much.
You haven't
even started.
This is an homage to the original iMac, the original Mac, which was so slow that it just took forever to load the game.
This is real Myst, though.
Actually, Myst was in 1993. It's R-E-A-L, Myst. And
We can at least show some screenshots from the...
No, I have it. It's loading up.
Okay,
It's
good.
just really slow. I don't know why. Here we go. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. I've been saving this. Touch anywhere to continue. So now,
Ooh, neat.
look at this. You really are in this 3D world. And Myst lends itself really well to touch. The original Myst, of course. For some reason, I feel like Myst was like a HyperCard stack. How do I move forward, Chad?
Just press and hold.
I'll press and hold.
Yeah. And there you
we
go. And then you can move your finger around, and so you can look around wherever you want to.
As you're moving.
Yeah. And then it just told you
walk
2 fingers to walk backwards, right?
Backwards like that.
Oh,
So,
that's kind of...
yeah.
It's a small learning curve, but
Well,
you
it's
get the
not.
hang of it.
I mean, come on now. Really?
I'm just saying, you didn't know. You
Well,
didn't have Chad
but
tell
then
you.
it told me. It said, put your
That's
fingers
true, it
here and
did.
do it.
And you're climbing. Now, do you think that the 4th gen iPad would make this feel more seamless?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's, you know, that's an example.
Although one of the reasons
a little
Myst was
limitation.
popular in the early 90s was because, frankly, it's just rendered images. It's not a very challenging game, although it's quite beautiful. And I think they've done a nice job of turning it into a 3D world. So let's go inside. What do you say?
Let's do it.
And now it's loading. This is very much like, Chad, it's funny. This really feels like even the realMyst.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So touch one of those books.
I'll get close enough to.
There you go.
Now, does this bring back memories, kids?
Isn't that funny?
This is the original Myst just for the iPad. Oh, it's coming in. I feel like there's something going to happen.
You have to complete the book, so you put the paper onto the book.
Oh, I have to get the paper down here.
Yeah,
Chad played this a lot more than I did.
Oh, Leo.
So put this on there.
Aha.
Is this the same video?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same old video.
And it's funny because it's like, it's all staticky.
Oh my God.
Well, that was intentional.
But yeah, no. But like, it's funny because like nowadays that sort of analog static isn't really a one-to-one. Yeah, you don't think about it.
This is from analog television, right? So it's a great mystery, and they really don't give you many clues. This is where you start typically, and you'll wander through it. And if you've ever played Myst, of course, you'll probably finish it in an hour. Did you play it all the way through yet?
I haven't. And as a kid, it was a little bit too big of a learning curve.
Yeah, like what does that mean? I saw that do that thing, but what does that mean?
Right.
So you really, if you're going to play this game, kids today probably would say, well, when do I shoot somebody? There's no shooting.
Right.
It is a mystery.
It's much more similar to The Room, which just came out. Where
That's what we were showing, and
yeah, that was a few weeks
I liked
ago.
The Room. Actually, The Room was a prize winner.
Right.
Best game of 2012.
Room's better looking than this, but
now you are giving me some attitude.
Well, I just.
It's true that The Room does look better, but this is so much larger. I mean, this is a big world.
It's a big world, and it's also about nostalgia. And I think it's about a really nice port of one of the great Mac games of all time, realMyst from Cyan.
$6.99.
And it is not an easy game to play. No, it is a very challenging game.
But you said that if you were really familiar with it, then
if you're familiar, you'd go right through it.
If you know how it goes, then you know how it goes.
Lickety-dickly split. But if you don't know it, you're going to be, as I was, completely stymied.
It's much easier now that it's in 3D.
You think so?
Yeah, because I remember being confused as to like, well, where is that in the world? I know that I turned, but I don't know how far I turned.
Yeah, you're kind of lost.
Right.
Yeah, because all it would do is have a still, and then it would you would go to another still and another still. Yeah, now I can look up. Wow, I never saw the ceiling before.
So realMyst, one word.
$6.99.
RealMyst.
And
wonderful pick.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
You don't like it. I can tell.
I like it.
I think it's great.
No, my thing is like I'm coming in late in the game, right? Because I
didn't play this.
I knew what it was, but it's not something that I
played.
played. Well, you know what? I was in the early '90s, probably at a kegger in an apple orchard because I had priorities that were different than they are now.
Yeah.
So that's and Chad was 3.
Yeah, he was a kid.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is where we have to stop the show because this is a really long show. You can keep playing this.
How do I get that to work?
We're going to stop this show.
How do I get the elevator to work?
And that'll do it for this episode of iPad Today. Leo's going to try to get in the elevator, and he's going to get stuck because it's a puzzle game. It's a mystery. You already know. I can just see it happen
already. I forgot to close the door.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Now it'll go.
And we've lost him. And
you can't go up in an elevator without closing the door. I should have known that.
We're going to have our iPad giveaway. We're going to have a winner next week.
We will have a winner next week, so don't forget to tweet.
That's right.
And bring your green beer, because next week is actual St. Patrick's Day.
Wait, no it isn't. No,
well,
that's the 17th. That's the following. It'll be the preceding.
So I got to wear this hat for 3 weeks now?
No. We will celebrate St. Patrick's Day on the next episode of iPad Today. How's that sound? Until then, thanks for joining us. See you next week on iPad Today. Oh.
May the road rise up to meet you on the way out of the dark. Goodbye.